Welcome to video number 215, and this video is based on some basic issues of time series data analysis. Let me start with the types of data. We have cross-sectional data. Similarly, we have time series data, and then we have panel data. You have studied a lot about types of data already. You know what does cross-sectional data mean, what is time series data, and what is panel data. Let me start with the time series data, and here is a model, and if you see in this model the subscript to various variables, that is with the dependent variable is t, and similarly with all x1 up to xk there is a subscript t, and t stands for time series. Similarly u is also subscripted as t. So in cross sectional data we have yi, x I1 and xk I1. Similarly in time series data we have yt, xt1, xt2 up to xtk. Some examples of time series models. One of the time series models is a static model which relates contemporaneous variables. And if you look at this model, yt is equal to beta naught plus beta 1 zt plus ut, it basically relates y in time t to zt in to z in time t. So the relationship between the two variables is contemporaneous, which means in the same time period. So yt and zt. There is another type of time series model which is known as a finite distributed lag model, which allows one or more variables to affect y with a lag. And you can see in this example yt is equal to alpha naught plus sigma naught zt plus sigma 1 zt minus 1 plus sigma 2 zt minus 2 plus ut. So you see the z variable affects y with the lag. More generally, a finite distributed lag model of order q will include q lags of z. And we can call sigma naught as the impact propensity, and it reflects the immediate change in y. For a temporary one period change, y returns to its original level in period q plus 1. And we can call the various sigmas, that is sigma naught plus sigma 1 plus sigma 2 up to plus sigma q, the long run propensity LRP. It reflects the long run change in y after a permanent change. Assumptions for unbiasedness. In order to be able to have unbiasedness in time series, we still assume a model which is linear in parameters. And if you look at this model, yt is equal to beta naught plus beta 1 xt1 plus beta 2 xt2 up to beta k xtk plus ut. And we also need another assumption, and that is the assumption of zero conditional mean. That is, expected value of ut given x is equal to 0 where t varies from 1 to n. We must note that this implies the error term in any given period is uncorrelated with the explanatory variables in all time periods. This is very important. This zero conditional mean assumption means the x variable, that is the independent variable x's, are strictly exogenous, that is they are determined outside the model. And an alternative assumption more parallel to cross-sectional case is expected value of ut given xt is equal to 0. This assumption would imply the x's that is the independent variables, are contemporaneously exogenous. Contemporaneous exogeneity will only be sufficient in large samples. We still need to assume that no x is constant and that there is no perfect multicollinearity. And we must note that we have skipped the assumption of a random sample. Why? The key impact of the random sample assumption is that each ui is independent. Our strict exogeneity assumption takes care of it in this case. Based on these three assumptions, when using time series data, the OLS estimators are unbiased. That is, the expected value of the ordinary least square parameters are unbiased. They are equal to the true population parameters. Therefore, just as was the case with the cross-sectional data, under the appropriate conditions, OLS is unbiased. Omitted variable bias can be analyzed in the same manner as in the case of cross-sectional data. Now we discuss variances of OLS estimators. Just like in case of cross-sectional data, we need to add an assumption of homoscedasticity in order to be able to derive variances, and we assume now variance of ut given x variables is equal to variance of ut, and that is equal to sigma square. Therefore, the error variance is independent of all the x's and it is constant over time. And we also need the assumption of no serial correlation, that is, correlation between ut and us given x variables is equal to 0 for t doesn't equal to s. Under these five assumptions, the OLS variances in the time series case are the same as in the cross-sectional case. Also, the estimator of sigma square is the same as in case of cross-sectional data. OLS estimators remain blue, that is best linear unbiased estimators. With the additional assumption of normal errors, inference is the same. Trending time series. Usually, economic time series most often have a trend. Just because two series may be trending together, we can't assume that the relationship is causal. And more often, both will be trending because of other unobserved factors. It is not necessary that there is a causal relationship between the two series. They may be trending together because of other unobserved factors. And even if those factors are unobserved, we can control for them by directly controlling for the trend. And that means that we can retrend time series data. And one possibility is a linear trend, which can be modeled as yt is equal to alpha naught plus alpha 1t plus et, where t varies from 1 up to n. Another possibility is an exponential trend, which can be modeled as log of yt is equal to alpha naught plus alpha 1t plus et. And in this second case, the dependent variable is in log form, whereas time is not in log. Still another possibility is a quadratic trend, and it is modeled as yt is equal to alpha naught plus alpha 1t plus alpha 2t square plus et. T varies from 1 to 3 up to n. Detrending. Adding a linear trend term to a regression is the same thing as using detrended series in a regression. And what does this mean? This means detrending a series involves regressing each variable in the model on T. The residuals form the de-trended series. Basically, the trend has been parceled out. An advantage to actually detrending the data involves the calculation of goodness of fit. Time series regressions tend to have a very high coefficient of determination, that is R squared, as the trend is well explained. The R square, or the coefficient of determination, or the ratio of explained variation to total variation from a regression on detrended data, better reflects how well the XT's variable explain YT. In addition to trend, time series data may also have seasonality, and oftentimes time series data exhibits some periodicity, and that is referred to as seasonality. So this is another issue with time series data, and an example may be like quarterly data on retail sale will jump up in the fourth quarter of the year, and just like trend can be dealt with by detrending the series, seasonality can also be dealt with by adding a set of seasonal dummies. As with trends, the series can be seasonally adjusted before running the regression. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a very interesting information about time series and some issues relating to time series. And in this video, you saw that time series data may be having a time trend. Similarly, they may suffer from seasonality, but both of these issues can be dealt with accordingly. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, kindly do subscribe to this channel, and do not forget to click on the bell icon so that you can get a notification about other informative and useful videos that I'll upload for you soon. Thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you in another video. Thank you.